Hello everyone, I wanted to share a book with you as I've wrapped up my Master Guide work. I wanted to share one of the books that I used. I started my Master Guide training when it was under the 2015 requirements, and so one of the books that was on the reading list was Light Bearers to the Remnant. This book was prepared by R.W. Schwarz, and it was prepared for the Department of Education by the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. And it was to be the denominational history textbook for Seventh-day Adventist college classes. And at least mine, it has a copyright date of 1979. So it's an older book. I don't know if there are more recent versions or not. It's no longer a requirement under 2024 to read this book, although I would still recommend it. I'm going to look for some other books and see if there's any newer ones out there. There are definitely some other ones, but this one was pretty all-encompassing and pretty thorough. As I would expect, it's a textbook, a history textbook for our church. And so it starts in the world in which Adventism began, gave some of the foundational knowledge, foundational things that were going on in the world, the early 1800s, and it goes all the way up into I believe it was 1950s is where it finally settled and finally ended. So it's a great book, and in it there are a lot more resources that you can look at. Each chapter has further reading that you can look at, or suggested reading. So on that note, it has plenty of more study material. And while I read it, I just was amazed by how much more there was. I'd heard stories of the pioneers. I'd listened to Pathways of the Pioneers, which is also a very good resource for learning about the history of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, especially our pioneers like Ellen White. And in that itself, I'm amazed by how accurate it is to what was actually said and what actually happened. This book is also, as far as I've read, pretty accurate. And I would encourage you, if you're looking to get deeper into the history of our church, to take a look at it and to read it. To close, I just want to read this excerpt from the letter that Ellen White wrote to A.G. Daniels, November 1st, 1903. It says, "Again and again, I have been shown that the past experiences of God's people are not to be counted as dead facts. We are not to treat the record of these experiences as we would treat last year's almanac. The record is to be kept in mind, for history will repeat itself. The darkness of the mysteries of the night is to be illuminated with the light of heaven." So, don't underestimate the history of our church, of our movement. Look at it, want to learn from it, so that going forward, when we encounter similar difficulties, we can see how God has led us in the past. We'll be encouraged to pray and to seek God for answers and guidance in the future, and He will guide us and He will direct us. So study history and look forward to God's guiding in the future.